I never thought I'd see the day when my own love life would cost me $8 million. But there I was, staring at a series of banking alerts that made my blood run cold. My ex, Marissa, and her new boyfriend, a slick lawyer named Carter, had managed to siphon off nearly everything I had built over the past decade. And the worst part, I didn't even see it coming. It all started innocently enough. Marissa and I had ended things amicably, or so I thought. She promised we could remain friends, and for a while that worked. Then Carter entered the picture. He was charming, polished, and apparently very persuasive. Soon I noticed subtle changes, emails from my bank asking to verify unusual transactions, small transfers here and there. I brushed them off. It's probably just routine checks, I told myself. Then the alerts grew more urgent. Thousands became tens of thousands became hundreds of thousands. Within months, my fortune, money I had painstakingly saved from investments, business ventures, and a modest inheritance, was gone. And each time I confronted Marissa, she played the victim, claiming Carter had fixed a tax issue or helped me with some financial restructuring. I should have known something was off, but love, or perhaps denial, blinded me. It wasn't until one sleepless night, staring at the last of my dwindling accounts, that I remembered something from my childhood, Grandpa's old bank account. He had passed away years ago, leaving me an inheritance I had never fully understood. At the time, I was too young to manage it, and my parents had handled everything. But something told me that maybe, just maybe, there was a way to recover what I had lost. The next morning, I dug through a stack of old papers, old bank statements, and letters from my grandfather. After hours of searching, I found it. A small, dusty envelope tucked behind a stack of tax documents. Inside was an account number, a key, and a letter in Grandpa's precise handwriting. To my future. If ever you find yourself in trouble or doubt, this account will be your anchor. Guard it well. Grandpa. My heart raced. I rushed to the bank, heart pounding with anticipation and fear. After verifying my identity, the teller led me to a back office, where a manager explained the account had been inactive for years. But miraculously, it had not been touched. And as it turned out, the total sum in the account was more than enough to cover what Marissa and Carter had stolen, plus a little extra. I felt a surge of hope, but also anger. $8 million had vanished from my life, and I couldn't just let them walk away with impunity. With the account reactivated, I had the funds to not only recover my losses, but also to plan a careful course of action against them. I hired a private investigator. Every night I pieced together their movements, their financial footprint, and their legal maneuvers. Carter, it turned out, had been using a series of shell companies to launder money from my accounts. Marissa had been the perfect accomplice, providing personal information and access with the subtlety of a snake. The more I learned, the more furious I became. Then came the day I confronted them. I didn't call the police immediately. I wanted them to realize the gravity of what they had done first. I invited Marissa to a coffee shop under the guise of catching up. Carter showed up, confident as ever, smirking with the arrogance of a man who thought he was untouchable. I slid the bank statements across the table. Carter's eyes widened, and Marissa's smile faltered. "I know everything," I said calmly. "Every transfer, every shell company, every lie you told me. And thanks to my grandfather, I have more than enough to cover the losses and then some. But here's the thing. I could press charges. I could ruin both of you." They both stammered, but I held up my hand. "I'm giving you a choice. Return the stolen funds and disappear from my life, or face the consequences." It was a tense moment, the kind that feels stretched over hours in mere seconds. Finally, Carter sighed and nodded. Marissa, looking like a ghost of her former self, muttered a shaky agreement. They promised to undo the damage, and for the first time in months I felt a sliver of relief. Recovering the funds wasn't immediate. Legal processes took weeks, and I had to navigate a labyrinth of bureaucratic hurdles to reverse the fraudulent transfers. But eventually, I had my money back. $8 million, gone but found, taken but restored. And through it all, I realized something important. The money itself wasn't the only thing I had regained. I had reclaimed my sense of self, my confidence, and my dignity, things no one could steal unless I allowed them to. In the aftermath, I took a moment to sit quietly in my office, staring out the window. The sunlight fell on the ledger of recovered funds, glinting like a reminder of resilience. I thought of Grandpa and his foresight, and I realized how lucky I had been. Not everyone gets a second chance, and certainly not everyone has a guardian angel in the form of a forgotten bank account. Marissa and Carter vanished from my life as promised. The lesson, though, stayed with me. People can be deceptive and trust can be fragile, but patience, persistence, and a little bit of old-fashioned detective work can turn the tide. Most importantly, I learned never to underestimate the power of hidden reserves, both financial and personal. And as for me, I rebuilt, slowly but surely, wiser and more cautious. Investments were monitored, accounts were secured, and every new venture was approached with vigilance. And somewhere, tucked away in a safe place, the memory of Grandpa's envelope rested, a silent reminder that sometimes the solutions to our greatest crises have been waiting for us all along. Life had thrown me into a financial nightmare, but I emerged not just unscathed, but stronger. $8 million was just a number. What mattered more was the lesson. Never let anyone underestimate you, and never ignore the quiet wisdom of those who came before you.